to Davo the Dalek, episode 26, The Dome, part 2. I was going to try and finish off the dome with one episode, but it's just gotten too big and too long, so I've decided to split them into 2 episodes. So this is the first of 2 to finish off the dome. If this episode's your first contact with the channel, I'll just do a quick recap. So I've built the base and the fender, as it's called, the skirt, the arm and the gun, and the shoulder section and the ring section, and now I'm up to the dome. In Dalek anatomy, the dome is known as the dome because it's a dome. Dome building technology evolved over the centuries from sticks and stones and broken bones and bricks and marble and water. Some are made from copper, some from onions, some from iron, some caged panthers, some caged thunder, some caged plants and some caged people. Some were for inner space, some were for shopping space, some were from outer space.
When the time is right, we will emerge and take our rightful place as the supreme power of the universe!
In the previous dome episode, I built the dome itself and the platform that goes inside it, and let's get into it. So this is how I've measured up to tidy up the dome. I've got my square, the measurements on it, and yeah, I can see that I've got it pretty level. This bottom rim needs trimming back, and it is uneven, I know that, but I've got a line here where it should be trimmed. That's what I'm looking at. This is to get the registration between the dome and the platform inside. Marking pen here. So I will be able to put that back in exactly the same place. You can even see the line through it there. Hope you can. Alright, so that's... Oh, also I need to mark a registration point so it matches up in the same spot. Flipped it over, that's the registration mark I was talking about, the last thing I did, and there is a faint line, I think you can make that out, around to line up the platform inside the dome itself. And I'll fix up some mounting points and then tidy up and trim the edges here around the dome. Alright, so I'm going to use 3 points to mount this, and I'm too lazy to go and measure it, so 2/8 and 2/3, 2/8 and 2/3, that will leave 2/8 and 2/3, so that's close enough for me. I'm going to attach these brackets to the dome here. I'm not quite sure whether I'm gluing that or maybe fibreglass over it to fit them in place. So that was just a proof of concept using these screws. So now I know it's going to work. I'm just going to take these out. And I'll reuse these screws another 10 years time. And what I'm going to do is drill right through this, and in the bracket I'm going to fit a riv nut which will poke through into this hole. So this hole will be big enough to take the riv nut body, and it will be poked. This will have to be widened up to poke that through and go into that hole, and it will screw in from the other side. Okay, I've drilled out this hole to take the riv nut. Drilled out these holes to accommodate the riv nut. Okay. There we go. That's the concept there. That will come in underneath. Just flip this over so we've got a view of it. So the riv nut there, that will come in there, underneath, into the hole. And on the other side, we'll have this is a 5mm screw we're working with. That will come in here. Need a washer too, of course, and that's the way these will be fixed to the dome. This is the way the plate will be removable. The Project Dalek plans suggest this bracket idea, but fixing that in place with fibreglass. And if you haven't heard, I hate fibreglass, so I'm going to use glue instead, which is E6000, which is pretty good. I've set up my Dremel drill press here on the horizontal with a drum style sanding bit on the end to clean up the bottom edge of the dome. And I'm rotating it around, obviously, so it's got to be nice and even. As the thing rotates, you're not going to see edges bob up and down with unevenness. Going through the floors on this dome, there's a few places where the resin was so thin with an air bubble behind it that I've broken it off and scraped it out. Going to fill some of these. There's quite a few around this place here. Right here, which I'm going to cut out basically and use that to have the slot for the eye pivot. Put that in there. Dimensions for the eye stalk slot, 130 by 34. It's a bit hard to measure this on the item because of the curves, etc. So I cut out a template to help me position it and mark it. Just doing this by eye, I think that would be good enough. Now cut that out. There's the eye slot cut out. Damn, it seems like so long ago that I started making the eye for this thing. And here it is, the pivot part of it, undercoated. And it seems I didn't stick with the original specs because it doesn't fit inside the slot at 34 millimeters. So probably need another 2 millimeters off that perhaps. It's not much, but each one of these is 18 millimeter, which makes it 36 wide or high, however you look at it. It's a bit wide, but that's Future Neil's problem. This is 2 layers of MDF sandwiched together, so it's probably... Well, let's have a look. Let's not guess. Let's have a look. It is 36 wide, so no one doesn't fit in 34. Okay, I've opened that up now, so my eye pivot goes inside pretty good. Now to make the bracket. The bracket's going to mount inside the platform inside the dome. I've got to get this angle right inside so it covers up the internal workings, I guess, and blends in with the outside of the dome. I'm just taking a bit of off-cut cardboard to... This is the outside, obviously. Inside should be the same sort of profile, but different, slightly different dimensions on the angle. Yeah, clamped at the back around the eye pivot, so I've got the right width for it, and it will splay at this end because I've got the clamp at the back. So I've got some tape across the front to pull them in. Plus, I've got this handy pad so I can reach into the slot and move this around. I'm pulling on this tape, pulling it forward to get the profile pretty close for the brackets, because the brackets will be sitting not attached to the dome, but attached to the platform inside. So the platform will lift off, and that will be in there. I've got a second line there where I've sort of marked an allowance for the thickness of the dome and a little bit extra to poke out for clearance. And that's the second line there. It doesn't leave much meat behind, and I've sort of transposed vertically and horizontally where it's going to go on this bracket. And yeah, you can see it's very, very close to the edge. I'm just going to state the obvious here and tell you that I'm using a bit of threaded bar joiner here as the pivot fitting for the dome platform. It's the same fitting I used to actually cut out the rings and the dome platform itself. So it works well. There'll be another bolt coming down from the top to hold it all in place. And underneath the platform will be some rollers which will get fitted into the top of the neck bin. So I'm just using some off-cut material to stack up the height of the platform to where I think it should be with the height of the rollers in place. I've stuck my dome on and the platform's in the right alignment with the dome itself. I've packed the dome up as you saw, but I'm already like 7mm higher than I wanted to be because I've got this chamfer starting to show and it's clashing when it rotates. You can hear that kind of grinding. What the hell? And it's not all the time, it's some of the time. It kind of grinds as it rotates. And I found the problem, see through it here, it's the bracket. Hang on, I'll show you. It's this return on the bracket here, hanging down and clashing with the top of the mesh of the bin and the staples as it goes around. I cut through it just with a grinder cutting wheel, being very careful not to push all the way through the fiberglass. So now I'm going to test the strength of this glue by leaving this cut off bit out. The piece of bracket didn't leave it off as easily as it looks in this bit of video. I've already levered around it with a smaller screwdriver first before this. Okay, so looking at the top of the neck bin, and I'm about to mount some rollers in it. So these will sit in 3 places on the neck bin and support the platform in the dome. This is not obviously this is obviously not level. To keep the rollers in place, I'm going to be using these bolts, which are the right size to go through and hold them in place in there. I've got to figure out how I'm going to hold the bolt in place now, because I'm not quite sure. Sometimes it's finding the little solutions for things that takes up so much time. I came up with so many different solutions to try and tie this bolt down. Would I screw it into a fixed nut, or would I have wood blocks over the top and drill through them? But no, this is the easiest. I just use some off-cut aluminium strip here to tie down the bolts. That's really secure. The screw here does all the work really. It's right next to the bolt. This one's just sort of supplementary to hold it in place. And I've repeated that around the 3 of the casters. So that works pretty well. I'm happy with it. I've marked out the areas I'm going to remove for the access to the dome from inside the shoulders and weight reduction, but I'm keeping a lot of this area here to counterbalance the weight of the eye stalk on the other end. I've been removing a fair bit of this as well, it's not needed. I'm keeping a fair amount of the track here because I want stability in this section. I don't want warp and stuff happening over time. Even though the rollers sit around here, not too far inside, I've got the dome mounts in there obviously, but the rollers sit about here. And I'm keeping it quite wide because I want, like I say, I want that stability over time. I don't want warpage and having ups and downs as this thing's rotating. And that's where I'm going to finish this episode. Like I was saying, there's just too much to fit into one episode, so I'll split it into 2, and there'll be another dome building episode coming out, which should finish it off. This was basically the status of the build when I cobbled stuff together to make this Christmas message, which is actually played backwards. I started off pointing at the camera, then looking away. It's the only way I could do it. This is my journey to live the dream. Come along with me on my build journey down the wormhole.